Very soon he met a little tank engine. "Hello, James. Here are your tracks. Have you got some bootlaces ready, eh?" James took no notice.
That's very funny because the bootlaces. I needed the bootlaces. Everyone's talking about the freaking
Are
bootlaces.
you alright, James?
You're so funny, Lincoln.
James, what's going on, man? What are you doing?
Making fun of my bootlaces? I've got boots. I've got 2 boots. And I'm going to squish you like everyone has squished me.
James, come on, we can talk about this.
No! There's no more room for negotiation. You must be squished. You must be squished.
James, come on, please. Please. Recently, I put a post up on my YouTube channel asking you to guess what this custom would be.
Broomstick handle. Another rotinator.
Chumish. That's a good one. But I'm sure you probably weren't expecting me to make Lincoln, aka the dark green tank engine that appeared in a single pop-up book from the Railway Series era. So, how did I make this fine specimen? Let's take a look. I started with this Thomas Wood Percy, which I got in a lot on eBay, and clearly it had been well loved, and that was all the love it's ever going to get because it's all downhill from here for this Percy. I decided to make him an 060, just like how I imagine Lincoln is in the Railway Series, and I did this by trying to get as perfectly in the center of the 2 wheels already there as possible, and then I drilled in a hole to put another wheel. Once that was done, then I had a Percy on a stick. Now that I successfully bored a hole through Percy's chassis, I was able to put in the wheel, which I got from a knockoff Rheneas actually. So it came apart and clicked in pretty easily. The next step was for me to take off the smoke box, and my goodness, this was by far the most difficult, tedious part of the entire custom process. Especially with these 2019 onwards painted Thomas Wood engines, they changed it up so where you have this screw that doesn't have a screw head that juts up through the bottom. That's what's keeping the smoke box in place. So I actually felt like a really bad medieval executioner. That's how bad it was. But after lots of elbow grease and muscle, I finally ripped that thing off and was able to proceed with the custom. I sanded off and whittled off the boxes that Percy had on the left and right side of his tank, and then I went ahead and practiced with some designs to see what the smoke box should look like.
Ew, what's that?
I settled on a molly face, and therefore I had to use a larger smoke box so that I could make him look kind of like a chill dude, like he is in the actual illustration. I used a olive green paint from Acrylic Country Colors Accent, but this is a really old paint, and I was surprised it was still good. I've actually am still using it for this work in progress I have on Oliver as well. After doing the olive green coat of paint, the rest of the details were done with acrylic paint markers, and then the last step was for me to seal it with Mod Podge. With that, the Lincoln Custom was done. The funny thing is that when I started this Lincoln Custom, he actually wasn't named Lincoln. I had started the custom before that interview with Clive Spong was published, thanks to One Salty for doing that. Then I quickly went back and changed the name so that he could have his actual new canon name. I see Lincoln as this tank engine that kind of stays out of the way, but he doesn't really care for the spotlight. He's also not really down on the world at all. He's a guy who's very chill.
Just chillin'.
He's just sort of, happy with going with the flow. I see him as a guy who's kind of hard to make angry, but if you cross him, he'll kind of get you back, which is what I think he did here with James. It's also been said, according to the wiki, that Lincoln and the original blue tank engine from the Railway Series story are supposed to be the same engine, which would be kind of cool if he was rebuilt or maybe a different color at one point. That is great story potential right there, so maybe there's a blue Lincoln in the future of my customs, who knows. Everything other than the front view of Lincoln was open to interpretation, and so when I did the sides and the back, I kind of put my own flair onto it. I gave him the number 84 because that is the year that his pop-up book came out, so I tried to put some meaning behind that number. I'm thrilled with how Lincoln turned out. He reminds me of kind of the mid-2000s era wooden railway releases, which, whew, if they actually had that sitting on store shelves in the box back then, I'd be a happy camper. That's going to about do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts on Lincoln in the comments section below. How would you incorporate him in the Thomas universe? And also check out my links, including my eBay store in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. I'm here, the Japanese Train, signing off. See you in the next one.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's
Lincoln.